Greetings. Welcome to Muse and Magic 1111, and thanks for stopping by my channel for yet another deep dive into this twin flame journey. Going to do a twin flame reading today, and so haven't done one of these in a while, but let's just get into it. All right, so I am not going to do a specific healing. I'm going to start doing healings a little bit separately and do different videos for those if you're interested, so you can always stop back by probably within the next week or two, and those should be uploaded for you. But from here on out, I'm just going to start doing the reading so we can just kind of get into it without too much of an intro, except for I will have a little bit of music. Apparently, I'm always getting flagged for these copyrights as I'm listing songs, and that's really just been my jam to list songs because I feel like Universe is always speaking to us through numbers in many ways, numbers, billboards, you know, symbols, just all kinds of signs, insects, animals, like, you name it, Universe is always communicating with us, especially through music and movies for me. However, I don't want to, keep hindering myself or even, I don't know, somehow just whatever the algorithms and isms are with YouTube. So with that being said, I'll just kind of bypass the music unless I'm just playing something that may be um, not copyright, and I don't even know how I can kind of come across most of those things these days. I respect the game, that's all I'm saying. So I just want to respect people and, whatever their protocols are for these types of things, okay? So this is by Danny Bands, though. This is a DJ, or excuse me, he's a producer, in the making. But I did come across this on YouTube, and I'm hoping it's not a copyright issue with this because this is just a sample beat from one of my favorite girl groups. And so all of our favorite girl groups, okay, Escape. And it's Who Do I Run To? And I just feel like that's your song. So you're going to have to go and look that song up and look up all of the lyrics, but at least you'll get a little taste of the beat and a taste of, where I'm going with this. But for somebody, there is a message in there in that for you. Okay, my thing is tripping. I'm not even sure if these songs have been playing properly. I know sometimes they sound right and sometimes they sound real wonky. Bear with me. I don't know until after I've recorded the video because sometimes my computer acts right, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so with that being said, let's just get into it. Okay, this twin flame reading, and here's your message. Oh God, you guys. It just can't just act all the way right, right? All right, guys. So let's go ahead and just dive in. So I'm just asking our romance angels to just give me a little bit about this relationship. Let me know who this reading is for by telling me about this relationship. What relationship is this? Twin flame relationship is this reading for? Okay. So here I have engagement in reverse. So that means that your relationship, whoever this reading is for right now, um, did not make it to the next level. Okay, you didn't get to the engagement, you didn't get to the wedding or any of that. However, this could also mean that they asked someone else to marry them. They ended up being in a marriage already or in an engagement already, or possibly chose someone over you to marry. Or if you are the actual runner in this situation, because there's always a runner and a chaser. If you're the runner, maybe you're the one who actually chose to marry someone else over your twin flame. Okay. So your love life is being affected by children. Somebody probably ended up marrying someone and having children on you. Or you found out, that someone was pregnant during the situation, or you found out you got someone pregnant during, this situation. And so that just kind of affected the whole, relationship. And here I see two kids, actually, to be honest. It's like two children for somebody. It happened twice. Whoa. Wow. So this was obviously someone that, you both probably thought each other could have possibly have been the one at one point in time. This was someone that, even though this isn't the soulmate card, but I do feel like this is someone that you knew in another lifetime. It's someone that you knew before. Maybe it was a situation where you met this person, nothing really transpired, because that is oftentimes the twin flame journey. You meet a person, it's not even usually your typical type. It's just somebody who you meet, you kind of have this connection to that you don't quite understand. It's not that it has to be an attractive or an attraction situation, but you just vibe, you know what I mean? And so maybe there was some time apart, you guys chose other partners, walked away, maybe you were both in relationships when this happened, and then somehow you realized that you already met your partner, the partner that you were seeking, right? So, this situation required some work. Someone was supposed to work on the relationship, or the two of you were, well, maybe you were working on it at some point in time. But there was someone who wasn't ready to let go of control issues here, you know, someone who really didn't love themselves first, didn't really know who they were completely and totally. And that could have been both of you, because that is a lot of what that twin flame journey is about. When you come into contact or into the same space with your twin, especially upon first meeting each other, someone is awakened, and typically it's the runner, it's the chaser who is coming in. You really are coming in to help awaken each other. Let's just put it like that. But usually the runner is the one who rebels and repels the awakening, right? And so they end up kind of going back to what's comfortable, going back to what doesn't feel like it's given any resistance, right? The road of least resistance. And mainly it's because of self-worth. Like, you don't really know who you are. You don't know you're worthy of a healthy, beautiful, non-resisting, non-rebellious, right? Love. Uh, so typically that shows up in a way where a person just doesn't know who they are. They don't really even respect themselves, less known respect the divine feminine or the divine masculine, depending on whichever energy you're in, okay? Whoever is runner and chaser. So someone just didn't feel like it was safe to love. And I think that comes from a part of not knowing your worth, not knowing who you are, not knowing yourself, not loving yourself even. And so you end up pushing everybody away because you feel like everybody is a threat, everybody's after you, and then someone who's making you feel is making you vulnerable and you don't want to be vulnerable because the fear is that it's not really safe to be vulnerable because when I'm vulnerable, then that gives the other person control, right? So it's not safe to love here. Someone definitely was dealing with family issues, like, and I feel like typically this is about forgiving our parents. So, and that's very much common in the twin flame journey. One or the other, or both of you had very interesting experiences as children. Like you both felt either there was some neglect, maybe there was an absent parent or a parent, divorced parents, absent parents. There was something. And typically in those situations coming up, there was almost like some neglect. Maybe some of you were felt like you were the oldest or the middle child, and sometimes those people, when there's another child introduced to a situation, kind of end up feeling like you have to fend for yourself, take care of yourself, nurture yourself, care for yourself, because the baby always gets the attention. If you're a middle child person, typically the older child is always kind of feeling some kind of way because you were the baby at one point, and now you're in the middle. So the oldest is trying to get attention in their own way for being the oldest. I'm the oldest. It's on some ego type stuff. The baby gets the attention because the baby's the baby, and you as the middle child have to learn to self-soothe, and that can just still be very devastating sometimes and hurtful, growing up, uh, in households. So there was some childhood shit, some parental things just from the past, which we all kind of have a little bit of that, that just, still needed healing. Okay. Religious factors were an issue. Okay. Somebody kind of was wavering, teeter-tottering back and forth on the whole religious thing, the conditionings of how you grew up in your past in the church or in Christianity or in whatever your religion. And so that was weighing heavily on somebody. Even if it was something like, hey, so and so's pregnant, I got to do the right thing. Can't have a baby out of wedlock. I got to, and so they make these choices subconsciously or consciously based upon their religious upbringing rather than making them from the consciousness and openness and vulnerability and authenticity of their heart. Okay? Yeah. So someone had to walk away and had to free themselves. Okay, someone had to take control of their life. This is next to this feminine character here, so I feel like it's the divine feminine who had to kind of just walk away and free yourself from this whole toxic situation, because twin flame journeys and relationships can be very toxic. It's always like I said, a runner chaser situation, and that can come across as toxicity, it can come across as narcissism. Like, it's just a lot of stuff. I've been doing this and studying this for a really long time, so that's why I'm on this. And while there's a belief for some people that twin flames don't typically, I mean, they don't really exist, um, and soulmates, of course, all the world is our soulmate, all the universe is our soulmate, everyone's our soulmate. We've all contracted to be here before with one another for the most part. Anybody playing repetitively in your simulation, you brought them here, okay? You've contracted with. However, um, when it comes to twin flames, there is only one. There's only one twin flame, and that is the person who shares either the masculine or feminine um, piece of your soul. Okay? There is a lot more to explain about twin flames, but I'm not going to take the time to do that now because I just want to stick to the reading versus just giving the breakdown on what a twin flame really is. Many people think that a person is their twin flame and they don't, and it's not, because you don't really understand what a true twin flame is. You're speaking of someone who's just a soulmate, someone who you feel really deeply for, and oh, it was the only person I fell in love with. Great. That does not mean that they're your twin flame. Okay. Um, and I'm not here to shoot anybody down. I'm just saying, it's a very different thing from just a soulmate or someone who you just really, really, really have these feelings for and butterflies in your stomach for, although that can happen with twin flames. But just understand there's a whole, thing behind the twin flame journey and why that even happens and your awakening. And I'm just gonna leave it there because y'all know I'll get on my soapbox. Um, so yeah, you guys actually, you did vibe. You were able to get to know one another on some deeper level. That's how you bonded so quickly and so deeply. Um, because it was very deep. Uh, but then there was this, this separation, and what tends to happen in the twin flame journey, there's many separations. It's almost like it's really hard to stay separated because you are twin flames. You are the other half of one another's soul. You are the mirror version of the masculine and feminine energy, the Shakti Shiva energy in one another. You know what I'm saying? And so it's hard. It's hard to walk away and stay away because it's so magnetic. Okay? It's literally like walking away from yourself. How is that even possible? You know what I'm saying? Um, there was a lot of passion, but that passion died out. That passion died out because, for one, somebody ended up getting married or choosing somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And unless you guys got married and the passion died out because you forced something that still had not been healed. It's like two unhealed people coming into a relationship, and I want you to heal me. Right? But no one can heal you. You have to do that work on your own. All you can do is enhance one another. And yeah. And I think this might have been a financial and a career, advancement for somebody, because somebody was very much into what the world thought, what other outside, with the onlookers thought, what the people on the outside looking in thought, what looked like success, what looked like a good choice, what looked like a good fit, what looked like you were doing the right thing. And maybe this person or this is a feminine too here. Um, and this is in reverse, and that's why it's coming out to me like this. But maybe this was a woman who came in and she was able to help. Maybe she was a partner, true partner, like a roommate who could come in and be like the homie and split everything down the middle, or, even carry you when you weren't really able to carry yourself. Like she was just, because I get this very almost Queen of Swords energy, even though I'm not using the actual tarot deck. Very just, probably slick with the lips sometimes, and when you're not holding your own or holding your weight, she knows how to really say things to cut you and make you feel a little less than a man, less than a woman. You know what I'm saying? But it reminds you of your parental shit. Crazy how we do. Yeah. Anyway, but this is a situation that was worth waiting for, and I just feel like somebody didn't want to wait. They didn't want to wait on divine timing. They were trying to rush, trying too hard to be perceived as something that they weren't at the time. So there was never this heart-to-heart conversation had. Somebody withheld information, withheld their true feelings and how they felt. Never had the heart-to-heart. Yeah, and there was unrequited love. And because of that, somebody pulled back. And typically it's the runner who pulls back first because they're like, oh, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to make this decision. I'm going to go over here. Or you got too many options or whatever the deal, but you just are always creating situations for yourself to sabotage the good thing. You know what I'm saying? It's such a weird thing, but it just happened that way. So, yeah, there was unrequited love here. Somebody did not return love with reciprocity that was deserved. And so what was, new once became old. And here we are now, someone dealing with the new love that they chose. And it just being deflated. So someone here, and this was almost in reverse. So really was probably had a lot to do with someone who kept going back to a toxic ex as well, who wouldn't release their ex. Yep. Someone who didn't make the effort. And I think the situation calls for someone to have an open mind, but that wasn't there either. They're very much wanting to be control the situation and what it looked like and how it played out, especially with timing, especially with wherever both of you were in a situation. Yeah, so this takes forgiving and learning. Someone is forgiving and learning how to do that for themselves. I think for my chaser, you took the time to really do some self-reflecting, to learn from this, to forgive, and you've moved on, or you're moving on, or trying to figure out how to move on. Now, I just gave you the background. If this sounds like your story, this is your reading, baby. Okay? This is your reading. All right? So, let's kind of get into what the general energies are for the divine masculine at this time. Let's get into the divine masculine business, whether it's you watching or you cross watching. And let's get into the divine feminine's business. What is going on with our divine masculines at this time? Whoa. Okay. So maybe there have been some obstacles in the financial situation or whatever, but looks like somebody is overcoming those things. Looks like there's something triumphant coming in um, for my masculines. I just want to say, hold on. A change is coming. I hear that song. Hold on. Change is coming. Who is that? Is that like Kirk Franklin or something? But maybe this is something involving the law or contracts or court or something like that with this success and this change in financial success. But this was a temporary situation. Someone's going into a new job, a new career, some type of a new opportunity here. But you need to know that you need to persevere. Okay? If you persevere, you will overcome this, overcome any problems. This is recognition, reward, and merit. If you overcome this, if you persevere, you will get your flowers. Okay? News of a birth or a new business opportunity is underway. And something about a younger woman right now. So, this is a relationship with a younger woman, possibly. And something about a financial pinch. So, even though there may be abundance or success in the, or maybe that's what was. Okay, there was financial abundance and success in the situation, but currently maybe someone is in a financial pinch with the lobster here. Okay, could have to do with this younger woman. Okay, but I still believe that it's very temporary. You know, it's very temporary, and maybe it has something to do with that stork, which was about a birth of a business or a birth of a business or an actual birth. So maybe it has something to do with paternity, right? Or maybe this baby will be an abundant blessing if someone is pregnant. Secret admirer. So there's a secret admirer. Maybe you're secretly admiring someone from afar. And and maybe this is happening because you're in a situation where you're kind of under the weather. You're not at your optimal levels of health, physically or maybe even mentally, because this is the card of depression. Yeah. Yeah, this is the rooster, an arrogant, boastful person that you should not cross. And maybe that's your energy, masculine, or it could be the energy of the person that you're with at the currently, or your business partner, or whatever. But this is I feel like it's a lot of your energy, to be honest. You know, just being so concerned with what others think, because that makes you a more boastful and honorary, type person. Um, Someone that you shouldn't cross because you could be rather vindictive, or vengeful. Hmm. All right, let's tap into the divine feminine's energy. Whoa, that wanted to flip right out. Someone will gossip about all your secrets. Beware of greed. Now, this is around now. This is April. So this is probably something to be aware of now. Someone gossiping about you, divine feminine, someone, and to be aware of greed. I almost feel like that's something that goes with this person who might be gossiping about you. Be aware of greed because maybe they're doing it to gain something, for something that they think they're going to gain. Seek out information that will help you. Keep your life in balance. The universe is fair and just, so I wouldn't worry too much about it because karma is real. Sometimes, or someone is extremely stubborn and unwilling to change. August. So, someone is extremely stubborn and unwilling to change. This could be your runner person if you're the chaser, and typically the feminine is usually the chaser. She's usually the one who helps to awaken the masculine, and he helps to awaken her as well, don't get me wrong, but she's the one who will continue on the awakening path, rather than rebel, and she'll go towards the relationship, recognizing the importance of it and the resonance of it, whereas the chaser is oftentimes the masculine energy who will rebel, who will resist, okay? Especially due to past traumas and childhood issues and all of the things, okay? So this has something to do with August. There is a possibility that there could be, well, let me not even say that. What is August about? So August, we have deep personal peace, and that assures success. So maybe August is a time of great personal success here. Um, and so maybe what this greed is also about is just making sure that, that you are open to change. You don't want to be too stubborn because of greed. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to hold on to what little you have, or, whatever. Because I do feel like, sometimes, a lot of people are in this energy of scarcity, right? Just surviving, because things are ever changing. The market is changing, our finances are changing. There's just all these changes that are happening abruptly all at once and unexpectedly. So just be very mindful of that, okay? Beware of great pride. Romance, celebration, and party. So tell us more about that. And news is on the way. So maybe there is some romance, some celebration, some partying that's underway. It could be in the month of August, could be this month in April. And this could also be that good news, great news actually is on the way. What is this good news about? Maybe you feel like you've been lacking something in life. You haven't really been it. Listen, life has been lifing for many of people. Literally for the past couple of years. I'm going to say even since COVID, safely, okay? About the past 5 years, life has been lifing. There's been a lot of seriousness and everything. You know, when you're in survival mode and you're trying to pull yourself up from your bootstraps and all of those things, trying to get up from your fall, it's hard. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to keep a smile on your face when that's happening. So we go into this serious mode of seriousness. And I just said this on another reading, but like the kids are going around saying now, get your money up, not your funny up. My little niece says that all the time. But that's what the mode we've been in. Get your money up, not your funny up. This ain't the time to be laughing. This ain't no playful time. This is, you know what I mean? We're just, life has been lifing. So this is really a card that's kind of reminding of reminding us of that, but also that whatever it is that you feel like you've been lacking, um, man, news is on the way. News is on the way. And now is the time for you to really just, I just want to say, start pouring into yourself. Go to a party. Allow romance in. Allow celebration in. Because I feel like you've been kind of closed off, just so serious. Why so serious, right? I don't know why, but I'm just saying. Like, yeah. Remember, this is just the current energies that Divine Feminine is in right now, you know? So this is about a journey, neither physical or mental. I feel like this is more or less a spirit. It's been a spiritual journey, and you've had a lot to deal with on the way. A whole carriage full of things you've been carrying along the way. Okay? But be mindful to just pay attention to all of the work you've been putting in, everything that you've been doing, because good news is underway. Man, and great fortune. Man, great fortune. Everything is going to be okay. Everything works out. Everything pays off. Okay. Let's see. Where do I want to go from here? Nope. Let's just check out let's check out these messages of love. Because I feel like somebody needs to know what their significant other is thinking. So, what is the divine masculine wanting to say right now to divine feminine? Unsatisfied. I wasn't happy the way things were going. I haven't told you everything. Things didn't go the way that I planned. I failed to give you what you need. I neglected you. I have to take care of my financial and emotional needs. And I'm afraid of what other people might say. Bingo! That's that gossip card that came up again. Okay. What do my divine feminines want to say to the divine masculine? Let's use the lover's oracle. I don't know why this song comes up for me, so y'all need to look up the lyrics. Because all I can hear is the hook right now, and it's an old song. It's so good, so good, so good. When somebody loves you back, right? So look that up, because there's a message in that for someone. It's literally playing on a loop in my mind right now. Okay, so first thing is imagine all unwanted thoughts dissolving into light, creating room for new opportunities and possibilities in your life. It's almost like, feminine, you're saying, listen, okay, I've meditated on this, I've prayed on this, I've dissolved it, and you need to do the same, right? You need to do the same. You need to heal. New beginnings. A new adventure awaits. Embrace it and live your dreams passionately. You know, live your life, live your dreams. Because, feminine, you are so compassionate and understanding that it's like, even through all that you've been through, and even through the way that you feel like you've been treated and what treatment you received from your runner slash divine masculine, you still just want the best for them. You still just want them to live their life, to be happy, to accomplish their goals, the things that you guys talked about them wanting to accomplish, or even so, if some of those things were things you talked about wanting to accomplish together, you still want them to succeed. Wait, don't rush into it. Allow nature to take its course. You're chilling. You are chilling. You're like, I'm no longer trying to rush anything. I'm no longer trying to chase anyone or anything. I am waiting. I am waiting patiently, and you should wait too if your life ain't together, right? It's like, do you get you together? Be happy. I can totally hear you, my feminines. Um, Criticizing one another will only lead to further unhappiness. Unhappiness. Love and accept each other as you are, and your relationship will magically transform. So yeah, this is about healing the relationship, and that's what you're about, feminine. It's like, if we focus on the negatives, things will never change. We'll still kind of invite this runner chaser, yuck, 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 ick energy, right? But if we just both let go, if we stop criticizing one another and what was, right? If we love and accept each other as each other are, then the relationship will magically transform. That doesn't have to mean that you're going to come back together and all is going to be, going to the chapel, and none of that. It just means that you're mature enough to be okay with whatever the outcome. And you're so far removed from it now until you don't even think about it. You don't even really care much about it. Doesn't mean you don't think about your TF, your, significant other, or your twin flame on occasion. Excuse me. It just means that you don't obsess over it. You've forgiven, you've let go, you've moved on. And what universe brings about, if it brings it about naturally, of course you may be open to it if it's not too late. But until then, you're just you cool as a breeze. I'm okay. I just want you to be happy. That's that love. Real unconditional love. Look at that. Close your eyes and tell yourself that you deserve to feel joyful. You can allow joy into your life regardless of the circumstances you currently find yourself in. Yeah, so regardless of where we are, we can still be happy. It's all love. It's all love. And last but not least, embrace. Through each other, you find the missing pieces. We don't have to be together to find what we were missing from one another. You awakened me, I awakened you. You aroused something in me. You ignited something in me, and I am thankful for that. I'm thankful for that. And I hope that you are on the path of something being ignited in you, the path of transformation and change and healing as well. That's what you want to say to your divine masculine, divine feminine, on a heart to heart, on a spirit level. Okay. All right, guys. So that's it. I'm going to end there. I think that was enough. You know what I mean? That gave us everything that we needed. I hope you enjoyed this reading as much as I enjoyed reading for you. And until next time, remember that love brings change. Love is the highest vibration of all, and all you're getting, get understanding. I wish you optimal levels of health, wealth, and abundance. And until next time, wholeness. Bye.